Hi, this is the bonus bomb with Saigon John on Octane Infinity TV. This is the explosive extra for Hoosier Daddy that goes outside the realms of fantasy basketball. In our first show tonight, I want to talk about our hometown team, the Portland Trailblazers, the only major league sports team in town. This year we celebrate 40 years of Rip City basketball. It's 40 years the Blazers have been in the NBA. Last night I attended 80s Hardwood Classic nights at the Rose Garden as the Blazers took on the Utah Jazz. The Jazz absolutely obliterated the Blazers. I'll get to that moments later, but first I want to talk about Retro Night. I went inside the Rose Garden Arena and felt some energy along the concourse. I actually got some swag in the form of, well, look, it looks like I got a DVD from our local sports talk radio station. And then I'll probably listen to this a little bit later. Also got a headband too. This though I don't approve of. I know that somebody's got to pay the bills with some promos, but Blazers, I think you can do better than to do business with this company. I have a list of grievances a mile long with that company after being a customer of theirs for 5+ years. I won't go any further than that. Back to the game, when the starters were announced, the fans were greeted by former Blazer Steve Johnson. Johnson was a player, the starting center, is a 6'10" center during the mid-'80s. I know a guy was unwilling or willingly to play out of position. He was a natural power forward, 8th overall pick by Kansas City out of Oregon State. Made his way to the Blazers in a trade with San Antonio that sent Michael Thompson to the Spurs. Was a great trade. Johnson eventually became an all-star but could not play in that game due to injury. Let me tell you a little bit something about this guy. First of all, he's an Oregon State alum, so fellow Beaver. Very proud of that fact. But this guy was a phenomenal player. He was injury-ridden for a large part of his career. You can tell when he ran the floor he had 2 bad wheels due to tendonitis in both of his knees. But this guy had a patented low post move. Okay, he had a drop step that got him great positioning for some easy baskets. He was among the league leaders in field goal percentage for the years he did play in the league. This guy could easily be a great teacher for the likes of Greg Oden and LaMarcus Aldridge. So if Johnson is close with the Blazer organization, might want to consider this guy as a consultant, an assistant coach, whatever. He would be a great asset in that capacity. Just want to throw that out there. Now, other things I want to mention. There were actually some other former alums there at the game tonight. There was an intermission between the first and second quarter where there were recorded interviews with Kiki Vandeweghe and Michael Thompson, both former Blazers as well. During the 80s, I could not hear a word of what they were saying. There was constant booing going on for minutes at the end of the first quarter. In fact, throughout the entire intermission between the first and second quarter, loud booing everywhere. Didn't catch a word of those interviews. I wish I could have, because those guys were a special part of this organization during that time. Now, during halftime, Bill Schonely, the legendary play-by-play announcer for the Blazers for easily 20-25 years, maybe more, had interviewed 3 other guys that were very big parts of the Blazers during the 80s, first being Morris Buck Walter. He was an assistant coach to Jack Ramsey and eventually became the general manager. And the other 2 guys being Darnell Valentine and Jim Paxson, the starting backcourt before Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler took over. Do want to mention something about Paxson. One of the handouts was this program that we got as we entered the arena, and inside was a good article on Jim Paxson, which I hope to share with you at another time. Why this guy's number is not yet retired, I'll never know. That number 4 needs to go up in the rafters at the Rose Garden Blazers organization, if you can hear me. No disrespect to that 77 World Championship team, but so many of those guys have their numbers retired that had far less individual accomplishments than the Paxman had. Jim Paxson was a two-time All-Star. He was an All-NBA selection during one of those seasons as well, and the first Blazer to amass 10,000 career points for the career. Can't say enough about the guy. I hope his number does get retired. The Blazers have the second most retired numbers of all teams in the NBA, and 40 years in the league is still relatively new compared to the bigger cities that do have teams that have been around the league for quite a while. Moving on to the game, really was a no contest for the most part. I was a little disappointed to see the Jazz get off to a tremendous start. They had a 21-2 run to begin the game, and they never looked back. They led by as much as 26 points, led by no fewer than 5, as the Blazers kept chasing, only to come up short in the game. Real disappointing, to say the least. Some things that you can teach about execution, other intangibles about coaching, need to be addressed. I want to say I was against the hiring of Nate McMillan from day one. He really hasn't proved much to me, other than he can certainly get the attention of the media and general managers as a favorite. Don't know what else to say about the guy, other than last year winning 54 games with a tremendous amount of talent to work with. He's only had another 50-win season once in Seattle, back when he had 2 All-Stars. So one thing to consider, maybe perhaps at the end of this year, we may want to replace our coach to take this team, if we can keep it intact. I hope there is no trades, but if we can keep it intact, we can certainly go to that next level with a new coach. The last thing I want to mention was yesterday, Greg Oden issued a public apology. Now, word got out a few days ago about nude photos of the center surfacing all over the internet. This is a picture that he personally sent to a woman with whom I assume he was dating. Unfortunately, it had been circulated, starting assumingly from her and on forward to everyone else for the rest of the world. See, dude, why are you apologizing, man? We should be the ones apologizing to you. That's your personal stuff, just been amplified by the media. So they are the ones who probably should give you the biggest apology. It's a classy thing to do, but we're sorry. I haven't looked at it, and I'll never look at it. That's your business, bro. Anyways, that's it for the premiere edition of the Bonus Bomb, the Hoosier Daddy Explosive Extra on Octane Infinity TV. This is Saigon John. It has been a pleasure, and I will see you next time.